Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are going to continue our discussion about the some major type of plant cell, okay, which include parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, water conducting cell in xylem, and water conducting cell in phloem. All right, so you can see over here are three major type of cells that basically can be found in the ground tissue. Okay, right. So the first one is parenchyma. Second, collenchyma, and the third one is sclerenchyma. All right, for your information, it is again, I would like to emphasize on the importance of picture in this chapter, tissue, right? So you have to make sure you are able to identify the difference between parenchyma, collenchyma, and also sclerenchyma. All right. Okay. So let's see the first one in terms of structure. So parenchyma cell have isodiametric structure. Isodiametric means somehow they have same dimensional cell. In other words, the shape is quite similar to one another. Okay. As for collenchyma, so collenchyma basically polygonal structure. Polygonal here means they have many-sided sided area ataupun kita panggil bersisi lah. Okay, right. And for sclerenchyma, they have different structure based on type of the sclerenchyma cell, either fiber or the stone cell. Okay, later we are going to discuss that. All right. So next we go to the detailed structure of parenchyma. So parenchyma have thin and flexible primary cell wall. Right? So in other words, they are lacking of secondary wall. So lack of secondary wall. So it only composed of primary wall, and the primary wall is thin and flexible. So parenchyma contain cellulose fiber, and it is permeable to water and allow or permit the passage of solutes. That is for structure of parenchyma. For collenchyma, so collenchyma also only have primary cell wall, but the primary cell wall is thicker compared to the parenchyma. So this is one difference between parenchyma and collenchyma. Right? Okay. So it also contains cellulose, and one more special thing about collenchyma is it has uneven thickening at the corner of the wall. So if you look at the structure over here, right, later we are going to see the bigger structure of a collenchyma cell. You can see that they have thickening at certain corner or at the corner area of the cell, right? And you can see that the wall is a little bit thicker compared to the wall of the primary wall of the parenchyma cell. Okay, right. For sclerenchyma, okay, so sclerenchyma cell have tough and thick secondary wall. So this is something special for sclerenchyma. So both parenchyma and collenchyma do not have secondary wall or lacking of secondary wall, but sclerenchyma do have secondary wall that is lignified. All right, so lignin make them stronger and sturdy. Okay, so sclerenchyma cell is dead at maturity. Dead at maturity means they are lacking of protoplast, thus it cannot longer elongate. So since the plant cannot longer elongate, so the secondary wall help to secondary wall that is strengthened with lignin help to support the structure of the plant. Okay, especially at the plant part that have stopped lengthening or growing. Okay, right. So that is meant by dead at maturity. Okay, so they are lacking of protoplast. So what is protoplast? Protoplast are all component of the cell except for cell wall. Maknanya nucleus tak ada. Dead at maturity means dah tak ada nucleus, cytoplasm pun dah tak ada. Alright. So this is what meant by dead at maturity. Okay, next. All right. another structure or things that we have to know about parenchyma is parenchyma cell have large central vacuole. Okay, so this is what you can see here. All right. So this is the large cell with large central vacuole, or you can see here. Okay, so this is what we can how we can identify that is parenchyma. So parenchyma has nucleus and cytoplasm, where the nucleus and cytoplasm is pushed to the periphery. So nucleus is pushed towards periphery. Periphery means towards the edge of the parenchyma cell, like this picture. You can see the nucleus is pushed towards the periphery because they have or large vacuole. Okay. Right, next, the cells are closely packed together. Okay, and no secondary cell wall. Remember, no secondary cell wall. It only have thin primary cell wall, and it perform most of the metabolic function of the plant, like involved in photosynthesis in the parenchyma cell of leaf. All right, and some of the parenchyma cell synthesize and store various organic products, right, like starch and water. For example, stem or root have colorless plastic that is used to store starch. All right, and plus it have intercellular air spaces. Okay, you can see here intercellular air spaces between the cell that permits or allowing gases exchange. Right? Okay, that is for parenchyma. Okay, next for collenchyma, right? You can see they are having pits in the wall. What is pits? Pit is something like small hole, okay, where it allow water to what you call it, flow through it. So that is pits, ataupun kita panggil rongga ataupun lubang-lubang lah, lebih kurang macam tu. Okay, right. So you can see here that the cell wall of a collenchyma is a bit thicker compared to the parenchyma. Okay. All right. Next for sclerenchyma. So there is no intercellular air spaces in sclerenchyma cell, right? Tak macam parenchyma. Parenchyma have intercellular spaces, and pit also present in the wall of sclerenchyma. Okay, and it is dead at maturity, right? Sclerenchyma is dead at maturity, as we discussed earlier, and sclerenchyma have various shape and also size, which like fiber and also sclerite. So the structure of fiber is more long and slender, like this. You can see it is more longer and slender. The wall is lignified, right? So, and then it is in the form of group. So usually fiber is grouped together in strands. So macam seolah-olah in a bunch or in a group of strands, okay? And has tapered end, means hujung fibers tu agak tirus. Okay, all right. As for sclerite, so sclerite fiber is shorter compared to the fiber, right? Having irregular shape and having thick secondary wall. And the secondary wall is lignified. Okay, right. Okay, so in terms of location or distribution, where can we find parenchyma cell, collenchyma cell, and sclerenchyma cell? So parenchyma cell can be found in the cortex of stem and also root. Okay, remember which one or where is cortex area, right? Where is cortex area of stem and also root? Okay, you have here example. This is cortex area, right, of root. So this is a cross section of root, right? And it also can be found in the mesophyll cell of leaves. So you can see here, mesophyll, palisade, okay, or spongy mesophyll. So these are all parenchyma cell, right? Okay, next for collenchyma. So collenchyma cell can be found in the outer region of cortex. Outer region of cortex, meaning it's still in the cortex region, but a little bit outskirt. Okay, outer region of cortex. So you can see here, right? So this is collenchyma cell, right? So this area is still cortex area. Okay, you can see. So in this cortex area, you can find parenchyma and you can find collenchyma. But collenchyma cell usually located towards the outer region or towards the edge of the cell. Okay, right. And usually it can be found in leaf veins, okay, and also in young stem, right? So you can see here, this is sclerenchyma cell found here where this area is at the outer region of the cortex. All right. Okay. And then next we go to the sclerenchyma. Right. So there are two form or two type of sclerenchyma cell, fiber and also sclerite. Okay. So for fiber, you can see it is found below the epidermis of stem or roots. Okay. All right. And also it can be found around vascular bundle. Okay, it can be found around vascular bundle. So here, you can see here. Okay, I'm sorry. So I missed out. So this picture is sclerenchyma cell. Okay, you can see it found below the epidermis of stem or near or around the vascular bundle. So this is vascular bundle. So it is found around the vascular bundle. Okay. Okay, as for sclerite, sclerite found in stem, leaves, and also seed. And it also found in fruits that provide the gritty texture in pear and also guava. So gritty texture, you can see that like guava and pear, they have quite hard outer layer and it's a little bit gritty. Macam kasar-kasar ada berbiji-biji tu kan. Alright, kita rasa macam kasar, berpasir-pasir tu. Right, so that is gritty texture that is due to the presence of sclerenchyma cell in the form of sclerite in pear and also guava. Okay, now in terms of function. Okay, so remember parenchyma cell can be found in leaf. So leaf is very important organ for photosynthesis. So in other words, parenchyma cell involved in photosynthesis. So as it found in leaf, and it also have a lot of intercellular air spaces, it is very good for gases, exchange and provide buoyancy for aquatic plant. Okay, that's why aquatic plant boleh float. Okay, next one, parenchyma cell also involved in food storage as to store starch, as we discussed earlier, store starch. Okay, and then parenchyma cell also involved in secretion of nectar, hormone, enzyme, and also tannin for plants. Okay, right. So that is the function of collenchyma. As for, the function of parenchyma. So for collenchyma, collenchyma function more on support and also more on support. So the first one, for tissue, it provide the herbaceous plant with mechanical strength and flexibility, collenchyma. So collenchyma support the herbaceous plant in terms of strength and flexibility. And it also provide much support for stem in which secondary growth has ceased. Okay, it also support plants that has stopped lengthening. Okay, right. And as for sclerenchyma, the fiber act as supporting tissue, right? Support. Again, the function is for support. And for sclera, it is help to protect the tissue, give the tissue strength, and to support or give hardness to the plant structure and organ. For example, give hardness to the nutshell. Okay. Hardness to the nutshell. Right? Macam kulit kacang tu is actually sclerite, right? Of sclerenchyma tissue that provide strength and hardness to the nutshell or providing the gritty texture. Gritty texture for guava and also pear. All right. Okay. So that is sclerenchyma. So this is a table of summary about the structure, the function, and also distribution of parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Okay, right. Next, we go to the detail one by one. Okay, parenchyma. So this is the picture of parenchyma cell. So remember, you can see over here, it has very thin, okay, flexible primary cell wall, right? So it has very large vacuole, all right? And then the nucleus or the cytoplasm will be pushed towards periphery. And some of the parenchyma cell also do have chloroplast. Okay, and that's why it is very important for involving in photosynthesis. Okay, right. Okay, so parenchyma has large central vacuole in mature parenchyma cell, right? It forms most of metabolic function, secretion, like nectar just now, secretion of nectar, for example. Okay, metabolic function like it evolved in photosynthesis, and also store organic product like starch. Okay, so example of function. So parenchyma cell involved in photosynthesis. Example in the chloroplast of leaf, parenchyma cell. And then next, parenchyma cell in stem or root store starch. All right. And then this is the function of storage. And then parenchyma also provide the fleshy tissue of most fruits, which contain mainly parenchyma cell, for example, apple. So fleshy tissue means the fleshy tissue means yang kita boleh makan tu lah, edible parts of the plant. Okay. Edible part of plant, and some parenchyma cells secrete nectar. Okay, right. Okay, so this is chloroplast in leaf parenchyma cell, in mesophyll palisade, okay, or spongy mesophyll. So these are all parenchyma cell in the leaf. And this is parenchyma cell in potato. You can see they have a lot of granule, which used to store starch. All right, and this is parenchyma cell in the roots. Okay, this one. You can see there are a lot of what I call it, granules. Okay, large vacuole and whatnot. Okay. All right. Most parenchyma cell retain ability to divide. Retain ability to divide means they are able to divide whenever it needs. Okay, so it can divide and differentiate into other cell type when a plant has been injured. For example, if xylem is injured, the adjacent parenchyma cell will divide and differentiate into new xylem cell, right? And it also can, certain part of the plant, right? We can use the single parenchyma cell to initiate or to generate entire plant from a single parenchyma cell in the lab via tissue culture. So we can use parenchyma cell to make or to regenerate entire plant. Okay, right. Okay, next we go to collenchyma cell. So this is collenchyma cell. Remember, collenchyma have thickening at the corner. So C collenchyma, C corner. So make sure you understand that it has primary cell wall, but the primary cell wall is a little bit thicker, especially at the corner of the cell. Okay, so collenchyma. Right? So collenchyma has thickened area at the corner of the cell. So it has thicker primary cell wall compared to parenchyma, and the thickening of the cell wall is uneven. Maknanya ketebalan tu tak sama antara satu collenchyma dengan satu collenchyma cell yang lain. And it is lack of secondary cell wall, same as parenchyma. Okay, they are lacking of secondary cell wall. And the function, it is flexible. And the function is to support young parts of plant, shoot, okay, or non-woody plant organs, like non-woody plant stem, okay. Example, it helped to support leaf stalk, okay, veins in the leaves. So this one, leaf vein, leaf stalk, all right, or it helped to support elongating stem, okay. Mature cell, mature collenchyma are living and flexible, meaning they are alive at maturity. Okay, means it will elongate together with the stem and the leaf that they support. Okay, so collenchyma alive at maturity. Sclerenchyma dead at maturity. Okay. All right. So you can see this is the collenchyma cell. Right. It is located towards the edge, right, or still in the area of cortex, but towards the end region or the edge region of the cortex. Okay. Right. So next, sclerenchyma. Okay, sclerenchyma cell have both primary and secondary wall. The secondary wall is thick and strengthened with lignin. Okay, so the function of sclerenchyma is to support and strengthen the plant region that have stop lengthening. Right, so that's why it is said as dead at maturity, because they are lacking of protoplast, so they are no longer able to elongate. So the function is just to support plant region that have stopped lengthening. So it is more rigid than collenchyma, right? And mature sclerenchyma cannot elongate. So it found in mature plant parts, leaf, stem, and also roots. There are two types of sclerenchyma, fibers and also sclerite. And the specialty of these sclerenchyma is for support. Okay. All right. So in terms of structure, okay. So this is the structure of fiber. So fiber is more long in terms of structure, slender and tapered. Kurus dan juga a little bit tirus, tapered. Right? And usually occurs in group. As you can see, it is present in group. Okay, right. It is found in vascular tissue, right? Usually at the end of, or at the edge or the corner of vascular tissue, right? And the example of sclerenchyma fiber type are hemp fibers that used to make rope, and flax fibers that used to make linen textile. Okay, right. Okay, and you can see here sclerenchyma is associated with pits. So the secondary wall is the wall is associated with pits. So this is pits. Okay, right. So next is you can see this is flax fiber, flax plant that is used to make flax fibers. Okay, this is what we call as flax fibers lah. Okay, and this is hemp fibers that also came from what we call it a type of fiber, sclerenchyma. Okay, right, and then the second type is sclerite, or we call as stone cell. So stone cell have irregular shape and it is shorter than fiber. It is very thick due to the lignified secondary wall and lack secondary wall at pits. What does it mean by lack secondary wall at pits? So the area that have pits, you are not going to have secondary wall. So this is what we call as lack secondary wall at pits. Okay. So sclera give hardness to the nut shell, right? And seed coat, that's why kulit kacang tu keras. Okay. And it provides slightly gritty texture to fruits like pear, guava. Okay. All right. So this is what meant by lack secondary wall at pits. So this is primary wall. Okay. And this is the secondary wall. Okay. So you can see this is pits. All right. So lack secondary wall at pits mean the area where you have pits, it is lacking of secondary wall. Okay. Right. So this is the structure of sclera cell. It looks like stone. So that's why it is known as stone cell, which each of them have irregular shape. Okay, so finish with the first three ground tissue cell, right? Parenchyma, sclerenchyma, and collenchyma. Okay, now we go to xylem. So xylem is a water conducting, apa nama? Xylem is a water conducting element, right? Divided into two. Water conducting element of the xylem are tracheids and also vessel element. So these are two water conducting cell of the xylem. Okay, right. So xylem have tubular or elongated cell, and it is dead at maturity. So they do not have protoplast. So in other words, it cannot perform activities like photosynthesis. So the secondary wall of tracheids and vessel element are often interrupted with pits. Okay, so the secondary wall have pits, right? And then the thinner region where only primary wall are present. So the primary wall is thinner. The secondary wall is thicker and it is interrupted with pits. Okay, the secondary wall are hardened with lignin. Okay, right. So this is the structure of vessel element, and this is the structure of tracheids. So these two elements make up the xylem. So xylem composed or comprises of vessel element and also tracheids. Okay, so you can see here, right? So let's see first tracheid. So tracheid is long, thin cell with tapered end, right? The water moves from cell to cell mainly through pits. So these are pits. Okay, right? And tracheid function in support and transport. Okay, support the structure of the xylem and transport water. Okay, for vessel element is wider, okay, shorter and have thin wall and less tapered compared to tracheids. So you can see the structure is a little bit wider lah, right? Okay, so the vessel element is aligned end to end, meaning like you have a very a small pipe and you can actually align it, or you can connect it to another pipe, to another pipe, to another pipe, and become a very long pipe. So this is how vessel elements are connected. So vessel element align end to end and forming a long micropipe that we call as xylem vessel. So the end of the xylem element ataupun the vessel element are perforated. Perforated means it has longer, okay, pores, okay, perforated, which enable water to flow freely either horizontally or vertically. So you can see here, this is the perforated plate that connect one vessel to another vessel element. Okay. All right. So again, you can see under picture, micrographic picture. So the wider one here is the vessel element, and the smaller and quite slender is the tracheids. All right. So both of them have pits. The wall is interrupted with pits, and vessel element is arranged into a long micropipe, and it is perforated with pores over here, perforation plate, which allow water to move along the vessel. Okay, right. Okay, so as summary, you can see xylem. Component of xylem includes vessel element and also tracheid. So vessel element have lignified secondary wall, right? It open and connect to one another and form a long pipes, right? It is a dead cell with hollow lumen, right? Allowing water to flow freely with less friction. Okay. As for tracheid is lignified, have lignified wall similar to vessel element, and it is a little bit small and hollow. Okay, it has tapered end, right, and it has a lot of pits which allow water to move from one area to another, right, or also surrounding the living cells. Okay, as general, the function of xylem is to transport water and dissolve mineral from the roots to the shoots or to the leaves. Okay. Okay, now let's go to phloem. right? So phloem, right, function to transport sucrose or other organic compound and some mineral ion, right, that is made via photosynthesis. So the conducting cells of phloem are sieve tube element, known as sieve tube element, and another one is companion cell. Okay, sieve tube element and companion cell. So sieve tube element is, the phloem is alive at maturity, right? And it is lack of nucleus. Sieve tube is lack of nucleus, ribosome, and vacuole. So how can we say it as it is alive, even it is not having nucleus or ribosome, right, to undergo or to perform the metabolic function? Okay, that is due to the presence of companion cell. Okay, so even though the sieve tube element is lacking of nucleus, ribosome, vacuole, so it is nourished or the nutrient is supplied by the companion cell. Okay, right. So you can see here, this is the sieve tube element, right? And this is the companion cell. So the companion cell has nucleus. Okay, right. So the sieve plate, the sieve tube have sieve plate at the end wall of the sieve tube element. So this is one sieve tube element, right? So at the end of the sieve tube element, they have sieve plate. So the sieve plate is perforated by sieve pore. So this is the plate and this is the sieve pore. All right. So this sieve pore facilitate the flow of fluids between cells. Okay. All right. The non-conducting nucleated companion cell connected to the sieve tube element via plasmodesmata. So you can see this is the sieve tube element. Okay, this is the companion cell. So the sieve tube element connected to the companion cell via plasmodesmata. Right? Nucleus and ribosome of the companion cell serve both the sieve tube element and also the companion cell. That's why it makes phloem is alive at maturity. So companion cell help to load sugar into the sieve tube element. Okay, right. And then the sugar can be transported along the sieve tube. All right. So you can see here is the sieve tube, right, that connected to another sieve tube via sieve plate. So the sieve plate have sieve pores. Okay, right. Okay, so as summary, so the sugar conducting cell of phloem are sieve tube element and also companion cell. So sieve tube element join together and form a long tube, and end wall are perforated, right? Now perforated with a sieve plate and also sieve pore. The cell are alive with thin cellulose wall and protoplasm. Okay, and the function of sieve tube is to transport organic material made by photosynthesis from one part of the plant to another part. And for companion cell, so companion cell is located beside the sieve tube. It has nucleus, right? Then cytoplasm with small vacuole, and it serves both the companion cell and also the sieve tube. All right, and it is metabolically active because it has ribosome, right? And it links the sieve tube element via plasmodesmata. So the companion cell and the sieve tube is connected via plasmodesmata. The function of companion cell is to provide ATP for the active transportation of sugar, right? In other words, it helps to load sugar using ATP, right, into the sieve tube. All right, so provide ATP for the active transport of sugar, right, or during transportation of organic material, right, into the sieve tube. Okay. All right. Okay, so that is all for chapter 1. Okay. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.